All right, Patreon Early Access, YouTube, subscribe while you're here. I got a great method of keeping the guy down when he tries to build in an MMA scenario. So when I have a guy down in turtle, what's the first thing he does in an MMA fight? He tries to stand straight up by posting a leg, posturing up, hand fighting, and getting straight to his feet. So I want to teach you guys a way to maintain connection to his body and put him in a position where his chest is facing the ceiling. If a man's chest is facing the ceiling, it's impossible for him to stand up. Let's get right into it. So I'll have Pete down in turtle position, and I'll have a typical tight waist around my training partner's body. So what typically happens in MMA scenarios, a guy will start to post his far leg and he'll start to hand fight, just like this. So in these scenarios where I feel him start to push my hands down, if I stay on him, we'll get into a position where we can maybe mat return him, right? But I want to negate all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit to my butt, and I'm going to put my right foot right behind his knee, and watch how I sit straight back, and I pull Pete right on top of him. Where I go supine and his chest is facing the ceiling. Because his chest is facing the ceiling, when he goes to stand up, it's just biologically impossible. If he goes to turn to his right, he can't because the crab ride in place. When he goes to turn to his left, because I have a wedge with my left knee outside of the lining of his left hip, that's beyond the lining of his hip, he's not able to turn in either direction. From here, we create a threat. I shoot my arm around my training partner's neck, I put a hook in, here and here, and then I'm able to turn direction, lock up either my body triangle, which we love, or in the event that the guy is physically maybe a little bigger on the waist, we can put in our post rear mount and start to look to go on the attack for the finish. So once again, I have Pete in the turtle position, and just to give you guys a breakdown of what this looks like is he posts his far leg up, he starts hand fighting, he works, he stands up, and by the time he gets up, he's already put so much pressure on my hands that I'm not able to maintain connection to him and mat return him. We want to negate that, and we want to be efficient, right? So this is one of the most efficient ways to do that. As he starts to post that far leg, we have to sense that. We immediately put a crab ride in place, we go supine, we extend that leg slightly, not fully, just enough to keep his hips below my hips. Now, if you guys notice, I have two wedges outside the lining of Pete's hips, with my knees going above his waist. This is important. My knee is below my training partner's waist, nothing stopping him now from going butt flat to the mat and escaping his body and changing angle, changing angle of his body, and I lose that connection. So what's important is that I keep my knee above the lining of his hip. So now, once again, when he goes to change the angle of his body, he's not able to rotate inside of my legs. We put a strangle in place. As he addresses my hand, it's a little bit of a decoy. We snake our foot to the top of his hip. Now when he goes to stop me from putting my second hook in, there's nothing he can do. I already have a wedge in place between his elbow and his knee, and I can always lock up my body triangle, or at the very least, my posterior mount. All right, we're gonna go over this again. I'm gonna try to break it down some more subtlety. Check out my Patreon, I do things. I try to put out one video a week that's exclusive that you won't find on YouTube. So you gotta check out the Patreon. The link's in the first comment, it's also in the description. Leave a like while you're here. Subscribe if you like the the content that I'm doing here with my friend Pete. Then share it. If it's good, share it. All right, once again, I have Pete in a position where he's on all fours, referee's position. He starts to posture up and post the leg. The time is now. If I wait here, and especially if he's sweating, he doesn't have a shirt on, he's gonna break this grip immediately. He peels my hands and he starts to stand up. So our whole thing is to keep a tight connection with my chest on his back and to place a crab ride in place. From here, I go flat back, I extend, and I put those wedges on the outside of his hip. Once again, if he goes to rotate inside of the lining of my knees, it's impossible because my knees are above his hip line. Once again, my knees deviate below his hip line, trust he's gonna rotate to either direction. And then from here, he'll start to get his elbow inside of my elbow, and he's all but escaped. Yeah? Knee placement is crucial. Don't underestimate the importance of knee placement. We need to make sure that our knees are always above our opponent's waist and that we're focused on keeping his chest facing the ceiling. If we can keep his chest facing the ceiling, anatomically it's impossible for him to stand up. If you're laying flat on your bed, if you can imagine, you're laying flat on your back, how do you stand up? You have to first change the angle of your upper body where your spine is running parallel between the floor and the wall, ceiling rather. If you're laying flat on your back, unless you're a magician, you're not gonna be able to get up, right? Same exact thing. If I keep Pete's chest facing the ceiling, he'll never be able to stand up. So, perimeter, I attack the perimeter of his far hip, go supine, I extend. Knee positioning, number one. Number two, strong body lock. Imminent threat. I call it an imminent threat because if he's not sold on the fact that I'm gonna strangle him unconscious, he'll never let me put my hooks in. I go to put my hooks in, you bring your knee to your elbow. Never gonna happen, right? If I create a realistic threat, going to strangle, he has to bring his elbow beyond the lining of his chest. This will always give me the opening to snake my heel in, change the angle of our bodies, and then from here I'm ready to go on the kill and go for the finish. Make sure you guys subscribe, leave a like, comment. Let me ask you a question. Who has the best rear naked choke in MMA history? Who do you think has the best, in your opinion? It could be anyone, it could be fucking Gracie, anyway, like, of all time. Who has the best in MMA of all time? What would be your vote?
1/6 Sons.
Oh, Chrome?
Chrome Gracie.
That's a good vote. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah, he's amazing with the rear naked.
Amazing, yes.
So Pete says Chrome Gracie. Who do you guys think? Who has the best rear naked choke in MMA history? It could be from any generation, from the 50s on up. Any early generation Gracie, anyone. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, if you like the content, make sure you guys share it. I have a website. You want to check out the website? StephenWilliamsOfficial.com. All the information is in the first pinned comment or in the bio. Thank you guys. Appreciate the support.